Shalom Israel, first and foremost. I do want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai Ba'Shem HaKadosh, to belong to the apostles, and also great millstone for teaching us his true peace and blessings to the whole land of Israel. Yahweh is the name of the Father in Hebrew, Ba'Shem is the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back here in the lesson, as you see within the title, martial law soon to be declared. And that's what we have been saying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, starting with the apostles and elders on down over that great millstone, that this is soon to come, that this would transpire. So we're going to be going to this video right here from Brothers Channel GMS in Rome, Lions on Fire. So the surge is coming, says Donald Trump. So we're going to play this back, and we got into a few seconds of it, and gotta make a lesson diving into it, as you also have other brothers going into it. And we've been saying, even dealing with this ICE situation, dealing with these National Guard troops being sent out to these 19 other states originally. We said that this is pretty much conditioning and preparing you for when martial law is declared. Getting you used to these troops being around you. But as Trump tells the military, he is deploying troops against Americans, whether people like it or not. But once again, people will soon come to know that the prophets were right, and prophets were among them warning of these coming times.
Have cities that are troubled, and we're sending in our National Guard, and if we need more than the National Guard, we'll send more than the National Guard, because we're going to have safe cities. We're not going to have people killed in our cities. And they're
going to be using these riots, these protests, these various situations in order to justify them pretty much declaring martial law. As you see what they're doing with ICE, you already see National Guard troops being sent out. So, which even before, I believe ICE was pretty much up and running as it is right now. He said that he would send out these National Guard troops to pretty much quell or do away with any of these riots and uproars. So, martial law is soon to come. Is the point.
People like that or not, that's what we're doing. And you've been watching what our missiles do to boats and ships and submarines. How about the submarine? They said, no, that was just fishing. The radical left Democrats said, well, it was a submarine, but they were just fishing. Submarines don't go fishing, do they? You know more about submarines than I do.
Trump just threatened to send now multiple branches of the military to U.S. cities against their will. Because yesterday, Trump delivered an hour-long rambling speech before U.S. troops in Japan, during which he spent a lot of time bragging about his achievements. And at one point, he was discussing all the cities that he thinks are crime-ridden and how his deployment of the National Guard in those places has made them perfect crime-free utopias.
So you see, justifying his actions. And as you're going to see, dealing with these situations, dealing with these protests, or these so-called music festivals, which is another, keyword, for lack of better words, for what I just said in the beginning. The P word, but they're going to be using these situations in order to justify them, come down with that great wrath, justifying laying rounds into you, because you're going to have people, obviously having reactions from the things the devil is doing. But also, you're going to have agent provocateurs in order to really set things off to get people riled up, as you see in various situations. It's not the first time this devil did something, like that. For example, dealing with the BLM protests a while back, where you had, literal bricks that were still covered in, the wrapping around it, placed, in the middle of where these protests are getting ready to take place. Remember seeing this video where you had someone, I believe, break a window, or whatever the case was, and you had people turn around and look at him like he was crazy, like what are you doing? Because they weren't trying to, do any of that, but you had an agent provocateur in the midst of them that pretty much set things off. So, let's further play the rest of this.
With him then going on to say,
people don't care. If we send in our military, if we send in our National Guard, if we send in Space Command, they don't care who the hell it is. They just want to be safe. We have cities that are troubled. We can't have cities that are troubled. And we're sending in our National Guard. And if we need more than the National Guard, we'll send more than the National Guard, because we're going to have safe cities. We're not going to have people killed in our cities. And whether people like that or not, that's what we're doing.
Now, with that, Trump did not elaborate, but when questioned about his comments during a press gaggle on Air Force One today, we saw this.
What did you say last night when you said you were prepared to send more than the National Guard into American cities?
Sure, I would do that if it was necessary. You know, if it was necessary to do that, but it hasn't been necessary. We're doing a great job without that. It was necessary.
So you see, they're alluding ultimately to martial law. And this right here, dealing with the National Guard troops, these ICE agents, having weaponry and all this type of stuff is conditioning you for what's getting ready to take place, And we've been saying this to this been part of Yahweh Shemel Shai. But the scripts at hand is 2nd Ezra 15:15-18. For the sword and destruction draw nigh, and one people shall stand and fight against another, and sword in their hands. Was among the sword, the guns, these weapons. For there should be sedition among men, and invading one another shall not regard the kings nor princes, and the course of the act shall stand in their power. So you're going to see, what you're really seeing it now, but just more sedition among men. That word sedition goes to riot/rebellion. You really see people getting sick and tired of, this devil, the people in power. But verse 17, and man shall desire to go into his city and shall not be able, to be shutting this place down. Lockdowns, we put in place curfews and checkpoints and martial law, ultimately, soon to come. As you saw, he was heavily alluding to that. Or if we need to react more or use more, then they will do more. So he basically doesn't be using various situations in order to justify his actions, to further his plans, and do the things he wants to do. So don't be surprised if you see something kick off. Verse 18, for because of the pride of the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. There's Revelation 12:12. And it says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is coming unto you, having great wrath, because he knows that he had but a short time. So the devil knows his time is ticking. He's on the clock. This is why you see him getting ready to come down with that great wrath. Getting ready to really, apply that pressure. He knows his time's ticking. Isaiah 59:19, for that's that point. And then going back to that brother's title where they're coming out as a surge. That's also another word for like a flood somewhat. A great surge, of water. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy shall come in like a flood. So he's coming out as a flood, man. The Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against him. This devil's getting ready to just, pull out all his stops. But the Lord's going to defend and protect his elect in the midst of these coming times, as he's written in the latter part. The Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against, so that standard will be lifted against our enemy. Power is going to be bestowed upon the Lord's men, which we hope and pray that we're a part of the Lord's will. But I also want to see what that word surge goes into. See if we can get there real quick. I did surge soda. So when you get the definition. Let's see right here. A sudden powerful forward or upward movement, especially by a crowd or by a natural force, such as waves or tide. There you go. Let's see. That's the point right there. Oh, this right here. Brought out by Shemel Shai. This is the fourth one right here. It says a major deployment of military forces to reinforce those already in a particular area. And you really see a lot of these National Guard troops around these different states. A bunch of ICE agents, especially roundabout. And you also have the police force, helping them also. So it's getting ready to go down. It's Jeremiah 37, the last 5 days great, so I didn't like it. It seems the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So it comes in times like never seen before. A time of great trouble. Really, we're in these times now. This is just the beginning, though. It's only going to get worse. But he shall be saved out of it. But also going to that time of Jacob's trouble. It's really for the wicked of our people. But those in his faith and his truth will also be tried and be tested. 2 Timothy 3:1. There's no also in the last days, perilous times shall come. So troublesome times are fastly approaching, and it's only going to pick up from here on out. That's why it's important to seek the Lord and repent before it is far too late. 2 Corinthians 2:11. Let Satan can avenge us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And it's clear what this is ultimately leading up to. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We know how this devil operates. So it is clear what he is especially alluding to, and what we've been wanting to is prepare Yahweh these things to come. Verse Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end shall speak and not lie. They will tarry, wait for it, because surely come. It will not tarry, meaning it will not delay. So we're in those appointed times as written spoken within the scriptures, and we are nearing the end of this place, and it's crystal clear of that. So you see his devil's getting ready to make his move. The Revelation 12 going to that great wrath he's getting ready to come down with, and the Lord's going to be using him as that sword, pretty much in Psalm 17:13, and to crack down a lot of you jakes. So that's the point. Those that find him close out, give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, B'Shem Shah, B'Shem Kadash, and Shalom. See you next one, Lord's will.